Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, I'm Allie. Today I have kind of an intertwined video, if you will. It's a busy Monday as I'm sitting down and finally filming this. So yes, there's makeup behind me, there's clutter behind me. We're just rolling with it. I'm also wearing my ghost face shirt today because it's Vlogoween. You know what? I had this whole idea of doing a vlog for throughout October and then kind of like piecing it all together in a way. And then it just became a very jumbled up mess. And the last week of October, I had strep. I was like out for the count and I kind of missed the mark on posting it. But then when I circled back to it, I was just like, it's fine. There was just so much going on. Barely any talking whatsoever. It was just a really busy, hectic month. So I just took videos here and there of things, like little clips, but like not really a whole lot of clarification on what was actually going on. So I'm once again circling back to it, and I thought there are so many cute family memories and just memories in general from October, which is my favorite time of the year, that I really wanted to share them. If anything, for myself, even to look back on in the future. So I'm still gonna do it. But the twist with this is going to be my recent read. So while I show clips of what was going on in October, I thought it'd be really fun to also run down all of the books I read in October as well. So it is going to be a vlog slash book lovers video. So if you love books, if you love my vlogs, then I hope you enjoyed today's video. If not, that is completely fine. And there's going to be more makeup content and other content coming very soon. So stay tuned. But I really want to get this video out. So I am literally filming this the day of or the day before this video goes up. So let's jump into it. The first book that I read, I'm going to be throwing up a lot of books because I have been crushing it on reading library books this month, was Such a Quiet Place by Megan Miranda. And I give this one 4 stars. Yeah, I think I gave this one 4 stars. I am also currently typing up book blogs, so I'm going to be rolling out a lot of them as I finish up like the year. I've been reading a lot recently, and I really need to get all of my book videos out, or all my book blogs out. But yeah, I read Such a Quiet Place by Megan Miranda. I actually did 3 books by Megan Miranda. I just read the first 2 in September. But if you guys want to check out that video, I'll link it up above. Some of these books I do have videos on, so I will kind of be brief about them. If you guys want the full review, you can check out those videos or book blogs for them. But yeah, if they have like a whole video to themselves, I'm going to be very brief about it. And this is one of them. So I did end up giving this book 4 stars. I think that's the most that I gave any of the 3 of hers. This was my favorite that I read from Megan Miranda, and it was my first time reading anything by her. Very cozy mystery. I love this one because it gave me like Desperate Housewives vibes, like Wisteria Lane. Like they're all on the same suburb and same like road, and it's almost like a murder mystery at the same time, but like someone gets charged with it that lives on the street, but then she's acquitted and comes back to live on the street. So everybody's just kind of like, what? But there's twists and turns. It's so much fun. It's a page turner. I really enjoyed it. It's a little over 300 pages. It's not a long read. Yeah, overall, a really fun book, and I love Megan Miranda's writing style. It definitely has grown on me, and it's a reminder that I need to pick up another one from her. I read from quite a few different authors in October, and a lot of new ones for me. My first book by Grady Hendrix was The Final Girl Support Group. I think that is the correct title. I keep getting it confused with Riley Sager's The Final Girls. So I think it's the Final Girl Support Group. Okay, I think that sounds right. By Grady Hendrix. I also gave this one 4 stars. So I feel like I've just gotten a lot stingier with my stars or my skulls over the past, I would probably say like 6 months. And I feel like 4 stars, if I say that, it is still a good read. It's a good book. I enjoyed it. I really did. But I had some critiques. Where 5 is just kind of just meaning like I want 5s to stand out. I want 5s to be like the books that literally blew my freaking mind. So this one was definitely interesting. I got a little bit of a taste of his writing style, which I did really like. I think what this one just kind of lacked for me was the characters. I don't know. I think I kind of wanted something a little bit more bold when it comes to Final Girls, where I kind of feel like I got that a little bit more with Riley Sagers over this one. But I don't really necessarily can say that about all of the characters. So I guess in a way it was kind of cool to see like a group of Final Girls and how each one of them acts differently and how each one of them in a way has handled their situation. So that was kind of cool. I think the lackluster part was just the main character. I didn't really care for the main character that much. So I think overall that's why I got a 4 for me. I feel like it was really interesting. If you didn't know, this book is about Final Girls. So they are pretty much your last girl standing in the horror movie. And these are supposed to be like real life experiences, although the book kind of does like a twist on like our favorite horror movies. So it's not going to say Sidney Prescott from Scream. It's going to say, you know, my mind's already going blank with their names, but it's going to say like a certain character and say like from the Stab Murders or something like that. So where there's that reference there, you know, and then like when they explain it, you know, they'll say like, you know, her mom died the year before and now she's being attacked by a masked face that ends up being her boyfriend. And spoiler if you haven't seen Scream. I love the references. I love the references to all the other horror movies. They included quite a few, including like Friday the 13th and Freddy Krueger and so many. And it was, those aspects of it I think were really cool. I think my favorite part about it is in between each like chapter or part, they had like news clippings or interviews with like the victims like right after it happened, or news clippings of like the case. And I think those were the most interesting parts about the entire book. I kind of wish there was more of that. I kind of wish there was more of like the history instead of what was currently going on in their lives in a way. But it does in a way become a very suspenseful like thriller where you don't really know what's going to happen next. But because of this book, I had to watch some Friday the 13th. I had to watch a slasher movie, so I chose that one. And same day, I was turning myself into Vecna from Stranger Things for Halloween, so, or for Halloween content. So there's those fun clips. It looks hella cursed, especially without the contacts. I just popped them out. I will throw up what it looked like though. It looks so much better with the contacts, but I have to get this off. I put so much liquid latex on my face, and that was ultimately like the goal not to do. Or the goal was to avoid liquid latex, but it just was not panning out, so I had to go liquid latex. But I wanted to pop in and show you guys my Vecna look. Yeah, I need to get some makeup remover and get this all off. I have to do that about 50 more times. The aftermath of Vecna. Look at all the hair that was pulled out. Look at that. Oh my god. New author on my radar is Kiersten White. Oh my god. The book Hide. 5 skulls for me. Oh my god. This was definitely such a gripping story. It was so fun. Check out the video because I do have a video on this one. Long story short, these people, it's almost like Squid Games vibes. I say that because it kind of just elaborates that like they're searching for people who could be hurting for money or would want more money or the fame from it or whatever. They bring all these people to a certain location, which ends up being an abandoned theme park. And they set these people in this abandoned theme park to camp out during the night. And then during the day, they have to go hide. And it's like a game of hide and seek. And last man or woman standing wins. And it's like a good sum of money. And there's talk of it becoming like a reality show or something like that down the line. So they think that there might be like a little bit of fame out of it too. But some of them are just really hurting for money or don't really feel like they have like, I guess like a purposeful life. So that's why they're there. The characters are so interesting and just so, oh my god, the character development is just so good. I absolutely love these characters so much, and the writing is so exciting and another page turner. You end up having this like horror element and sci-fi element, and it just ends up turning into something that you don't expect. And of course, there's those twists and shock factors, and such a good book. It's a new book from this year. It was her first or adult debut. So yeah, it was just incredible. I cannot wait for her to publish some more because, oh my god, so good. The boys both had field trips in October, and Axel's kindergarten field trip is just like a local field trip. I don't blame them. I cannot imagine having that many 5 and 6-year-olds on a school bus, like going for a field trip at a longer, you know, drive. So his was locally at a park where they got to spend all day at the park instead of at school. So it was still a bonus for him, but I was able to show up and see him for a little bit during his day and meet some of his friends, and it was a really nice afternoon. I love being able to see his face with, you know, his class, and oh my gosh, his face just like lit up when he seen me. Like I said, busy month because the same night we had Roman's purple belt testing, and he passed and is now a blue belt. So exciting. I'm so proud of him and all that he's accomplished with Taekwondo.
Went out on his own as a freelance bioexorcist.
Just Like Home was another really fun read. This book is by Sarah Gailey. I gave it 4 stars. It's very close to 5 though. Their writing style is it's almost kind of like a slow burn throughout the majority of the book, but then it picks up and you're going fast. Now, I did mention this book also in the book video with Hyde. So those 2 books were mentioned in that video if you check it out. So I'll leave this brief, but it's very, very interesting. It has like that horror sci-fi effect as well, but there's a lot of elements, and I didn't really care for the characters that much. I think that's why I got a 4, but also the fact that I felt like there was so much going on and so many elements to it that it was a little too much. Like, I feel like they could have taken maybe something out of it. I don't really want to give too much of it away. I feel like the summary kind of already gives what I'm going to say away, so I don't think this is that big of a spoiler, but it kind of deals with, obviously, you know that there's going to be like some type of aspect of like a haunted house, and then you have a horror element of it kind of being like true crime, like having a a serial killer in the family. But then there's also a third element that comes in that's kind of like sci-fi horror. And while I still give this book props, I feel like there's a lot of people who really did not like this book. And I have to say, I really like this book. I would recommend it. I mean, I don't really know who to recommend it to though. I feel like you definitely have to like horror and sci-fi. But it's just make you kind of like nauseated at certain times or just kind of like, ooh. But I actually got chills reading this book too in certain points, and it was quite a wild ride. So yeah, 4 stars. I kind of docked a little bit because of just the characters. I felt like there could have been a lot more to them. And then just the fact that like, I kind of feel like they could have literally written like 3 books with the topics they discussed. 3 separate books. I would even understand if it was 2 books and they kept like a couple of the elements in the same book. But I feel like the 3 of them like all together in this book was just kind of a lot to digest. And I don't know, I think that's what kind of turned a lot of people off from this book, is some of the twists that you're just kind of like, huh? But I'm kind of a twisted mind on certain things to the point to where I kind of enjoyed it at the same time. So yeah, I feel like it's just, it's one of those books where you're either probably going to really enjoy it or you're probably really going to hate it. Roman's field trip was an hour and a half away at a pumpkin patch called Pumpkin Hollow, and I showed up a little bit later in the day. He's kind of getting to that age where he's just like, yeah, I want you to come, but like, are you gonna hang out with me and my friends like the whole time? Which freaking breaks my heart, but I showed up a little bit later. He showed me what pumpkin he had picked out, and he played in the like big corn bucket with a bunch of his friends. It was a lot. It was a pretty hot day too, but we got to see some animals and I got to check him out early. So I was also able to pick up another pumpkin for his brother so that they could do some pumpkin painting. And I also picked up some mums. They had such beautiful mums. I also around this time was working on Bubbly, my little bath shop. Brought back some fall scents, so you can still shop them now, and I'm going to be having holiday scents up as well, so there's that too. I know I'm a little late to the game of talking about these, but there's pumpkin and apple cider. I feel like vanilla is always just like a cozy fall scent as well. On to my witchy reads. I'm gonna link the video up above because I'm going to run through these pretty quickly. I went into detail and I really vlogged a lot more, I guess, in October around this time. I had a little bit more me time to be able to do so versus the rest of the month. So I picked up some different witchy books. First was a graphic novel. It's called The Montagu Twins, The Witch's Hand by Nathan Page, and then the illustrator was Drew Shannon. And it was really, really fun to watch this. It has been brought to my attention by one of you guys that it is kind of like a young adult version of like Supernatural, which I definitely get that vibe. I have not really watched a lot of Supernatural to really know. I know, don't come at me, but yeah, I think it is a lot that vibe. I actually want to pick up the next book in the series and try it out. It definitely is young adult, but you know what? It was a lot of fun to read it, and it's very comic book style. I really liked it. The characters have so much like attitude and personality. I loved it. They all just kind of go together really well, and at the same time, they do mention topics that I feel like as teenagers and young adult, it's nice and it's refreshing to see them in that type of light. Talking about, I mean, there's some darker things like depression and even more darker, you know, things, if you catch my drift. But there's also talks of like sexuality and different things that are being like normalized in it, but also like definitely showing the aspects of it to where it is difficult to go through and that coming out process to your loved one. So I found it really interesting, and it's very lighthearted at the same time. There's a lot of humor, and I really enjoyed it. And overall, I gave it 4 stars, which I feel like is really good for a graphic novel. Then we spent the night pumpkin painting and making some spooky treats, which ended up looking very cursed. Then fell down the rabbit hole of rom-coms because I wanted some witchy reads, and a lot of them are rom-coms. Now, I do know there is some more witchy books out there. I picked up, I think, The Witching Hour by Anne Rice, and I just didn't get to it in time for like the video and stuff, and it's over 1,000 pages, and I was like, whew, I'm gonna have to circle back to that one. But you know what? I'm like good to read witchy books all year round, so I will still pick some up soon. But I read Witch Please, Fix It Witches by... I just realized that there's 3 books in this series. What? Is it all the same? No, I think that they're different people though. I'm intrigued. Okay, so I read this by Anne Aguirre. I think that's how you say her name. I'm not sure. I could still be saying it wrong. But anyways, I'm on Amazon right now, and there's 2 more books from her, like, Fix It Witches series. Interesting. And they're actually pretty affordable on Kindle, so I may pick them up on Kindle. Anyways, I read the first one, which is just Witch Please. I am intrigued in the other one, so that says something, but I only gave this one 3 stars. I normally do with rom-coms. They're just not really for me, and there was a lot of cringiness with this. You know, like holiday Hallmark and holiday Netflix movies? That's kind of the vibe. But make it Halloween and like witch vibes. So this one and the next book kind of, I read them so back to back that they kind of intertwine a little bit, and I'm like trying to sort through my head which was which. I kind of get them a little bit intertwined because they're rom-coms, they're both about witches, and some of the elements are a lot alike. I gave them both 3 stars too, so they're kind of on the same level. This one involved, the main character has a shop with her cousin, who's also a witch, and they live with their grandma, I believe, and she's a witch, and... or no, she lives with her aunt, I think. Don't remember the living arrangements. It's a family of witches. They own a shop called the Fix It Witches, where they fix like different electronics and whatever, because they're witches and they can do that, but they just kind of like make it seem like they're like these amazing mechanics and everything. Anyways... but the baker and the town and her start having like this like chemistry or whatever, and you know, she's kind of the type that she's like falling for him, but in their family they're not supposed to date like muggles, if you will. So she's having a hard time navigating that because she doesn't want to like piss her family off, but she kind of is falling for him. And then he feels like he's just been cursed his whole life because every time a relationship starts to become even a little bit serious, the person would like run off and like not stay with him. So he kind of felt like he was like cursed. So this was kind of like the first time that wasn't really happening. But then was it? Because she was kind of back and forth about like her whole family thing. So honestly, my issue with this one is it was like so raunchy. It was so cringy at some points. Like, I mean, I get it. It's like for some people, but I just feel like there's just a certain point that I'm just kind of like, okay. The story was just very lackluster, like almost all the way through. It just wasn't really doing a whole lot for me. Yeah, I mean, I think it was just kind of like, okay, cute moment for like Halloween time or whatever. I know, but I still am kind of intrigued to check out the other two.
Oh.
It's not gonna make it. Stop it.
Axel had his fall festival at his school. We got to do a little hayride moment. It was very loud and crazy in the gym. They had bounce houses and everything else. It was a very full-on evening for me. My husband had parent-teacher conferences at his job the same night, so it was me and the boys tackling it alone with costumes that they would not keep on, but they swore they had to bring. So yeah, it was a very eventful night for sure. And right before that, we had Roman's Pumpkin Palooza at his school, so we went back to back that night, and it was just insane.
Did not supposed to realize when my teeth was going to Darwin. And then Mama found me when that because we have white teeth was okay?
All right. Go.
Okay, sidebar alley here. I also forgot to show you guys my Halloween Ipsy, October Ipsy. I went on and on in September about how October Ipsy has always been my favorite. Yeah, and then I wasn't able to film this or get it up for you guys. So Halloween was the theme. And I got some like pretty cute products. The bag is really cute, kind of looks like a spider web on one side anyways, and then the like zipper is actually like a spider. But I chose a deluxe sample size of the Magic Touch Concealer from Anastasia Beverly Hills in the shade 2. I'm hoping it works for me. I also got a deluxe sample size of the Dermatologist Choice Deep Cleansing Facial Mask with AHA and BHA. Best Face Forward Clarifying Toner. A cute itty bitty lipstick from Jasmine Beauty. Never heard of this. It is their Lip Lock lipstick in Stay Cozy, which is super cute, and I need to look more into this brand. And lastly, another deluxe sample size of the Item Beauty Hey Hi Halo Liquid Highlighter in Electric. Not a bad month, and I was kind of bummed that I never was able to show you guys, so I kind of just wanted to throw it in this video. back to the books. We have the second rom-com, which was The Ex-Hex. I've heard quite a bit about this book by Erin Sterling, and there's also a sequel of this, The Kiss Curse, which I found out my library now has both of them. At the time they didn't, so I did have to order this book to read it. And then I gave it 3 stars, so I was kind of like, It's not bad. It just is a lot like Witch Please. There's just a lot of the same concepts, the witch family, and I mean, in this instance, though, she's falling for another witch. But I felt like what was going down in this book was just a lot of this, like, back and forth, like, he really loves her, she really likes him, but he's like, this isn't where I live, this isn't my life, blah, 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 blah. I have to go back home, because there's that whole element. And then there's her being like, I'm not going to be with him. And, like, I think this one was the one where, like, they had dated years before, and he broke her heart. So now, like, a certain amount of years later, they're, like, kind of rekindling those feelings, but, like, trying to avoid each other at the same time. And so it's just, like, that back and forth, like, I like her, but I can't be with her. And I like him, but I can't be with him. And it's, oh my god, like, that trope is cute for a moment, but it's all the way through this book, and it drives me insane. I don't think I've ever read a book that literally used this trope so much. Like, again, it's cute getting the story going, but, like, all the way through the book, my god. And the other Witch Please did have other elements to it, but it wasn't really towards the end. And then there was kind of like a story unfolding, which I wish just kind of got there a little bit faster towards the beginning of the book. This one deals with the story a lot earlier on in the book, so I did appreciate that. It was interesting enough. Another cute Halloween read, but nothing like too crazy either. It got 3 stars for me. They're both cute little witchy reads. If you absolutely love romance or rom-com in general, and you like holiday books or whatever, I'm sure you'll like them. If you guys didn't know, I have a new podcast called Hella Spooky, and I'm really excited about it. I think there's 2 episodes out by the time you guys see this video, so I don't want to spoil any future ones, but check them out. The first one was the debut of it, and we talked about the show and the actual real-life story of the Watcher. The second one, though, was of the Salem witch trial, so very well played into my week of witchy reads, and so I wanted to mention it and show a little bit of behind the scenes of getting my Hella Spooky episodes together. I've had so much fun with them. If you like scary stories, getting spooked, and just kind of I mean, we're there to have fun and to talk about some different spooky things, all the while doing my makeup. The same week, we also went to our family, like, the family farm, where you can go to the pumpkin patch and pick out your pumpkins. We had a lot of fun there, and then we also had Roman's movie night at school. There was a lot going on. They played Despicable Me. The kids had their, like, costume parade, whole family night. This was, like, right before we got sick, so I'm sure one of these events that I was going back and forth was what ultimately got me sick. And then their school parties were coming up, so I had goodie bags to make. Yeah, there was a lot going on in October. I'm still exhausted from October. So cute! Axel, you wanna come feed this one? Can you pet him? Oh, so cute! Next up, we do have a really good one. No. Killers of a Certain Age. This is a new book this year as well, from Deanna Raybourn. And I give this one 5 skulls because it is so, so good. So the gist of this book is about 4 women who are now like in their 60s, retired, but they were assassins. And now living the retired life, they're being targeted by maybe even the same people who hired them to be assassins. It is such a fun, wild ride of a book. The characters are so much fun. I absolutely love the characters. So, so good. They all have different personalities, but they're so entertaining. I like the comedy aspect of it while also having that real and like seriousness of it. There's also like the current days, but you also kind of go back to their past, to when they're recruited in the first place, why they were brought on, what cases they involved. And a lot of them, you think of assassins like as a bad way, but their like hit list was like supposed to be like the bad guys, so type of ordeal. So definitely some heavy topics there to unravel, but again, it's kind of a little bit more lighthearted because you do have like the comedy effect of it, but also definitely realness as well. It's very entertaining, it's suspenseful, it's a thriller. There is so much to unpack with it, but it is so good. I definitely would recommend this to pretty much anyone. I think it's such a good book, and the characters are so likable. I really loved about it is how, like, going into the past and then into the present, how cohesive they were together. So now that they're being targeted and they're having to start a mission of their own together and like, you know, getting together and working together on it, it'll go back in time and like introduce certain characters and certain missions that they were on with those characters or those people. And then it'll go forward to like what their plan is now. And they kind of like are cohesive in like the same way. It's so entertaining. I actually would love to see this like become a movie. The book will always be better, but I think it could be a really interesting movie as well. Such a good book. And then my last book that I actually finished the beginning of November, but I thought I'd throw in here as a little sneak peek too of like some stuff that I've been working on as well. I had a whole video planned out. I've been listening to the Dracula audiobook, and then I was reading A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. Really upset that some of my plans didn't fell through because of strep and being sick towards the end of the month, but yeah, for my body and for my health, I had to take some downtime. So I did have a whole video planned for you guys with some different vampire reads. So that didn't happen, but I still read some of them. And so I read A Dowry of Blood. I heard really good things about it, and that was a really, really good book. I was going to give it 5 goals, but I ended up giving it 4 just because there was just some elements of it that like I just didn't really care for, but at the same time I felt like it was very, very interesting. Honestly, what you have to know going into this is that it is about vampires, obviously, but what you also have to realize, or before going into it, I think too, is that it's about a polygamous relationship. So you go way back in time. I really liked the history concept of it, and they traveled a lot. So the talk of like different countries and places was so freaking cool. I loved it. And like the storytelling is so beautiful. Like I absolutely love the description of everything. It's super entertaining and really reels you in, and you almost feel like you're there in a way. It's so cool. But yeah, it's a relationship that kind of grows and adds on more people. And when you think vampire family, you know, you might have like the thought of like the Cullens or something like that, but no, they take it to a different level to where they're all lovers, and it's a different concept for a lot of people. I'm a very open-minded person to where I know that it's not something for me, but I did enjoy reading about it and seeing their thoughts on it and how they live their life. But I think what I loved most about it, again, was the storytelling of like the different places they lived and visited, and their lifestyles and the characters in general. They're all very, very interesting characters, and the character development was really, really good as well. Like so fun and interesting, and I really liked the main character a lot. And I like that it was kind of, the book is pretty short, but it's separated into different parts as it introduces each new lover or character. But yeah, overall, I did enjoy it. There's just like some stuff of it where I felt like it kind of went from more of like a medieval like vampire novel to more so like a more modern age like vampire book, to where I don't know, I was kind of like, I get like time went on and as it progressed it kind of had to show like that more modernized way, but there was just, yeah, there was some elements that wasn't really for me. But I think it's an actual short story. You can get through it pretty fast, and I did. That's why I was saying like I thought I would throw it in here. I got through it really, really quick and did enjoy it, but I would only give it 4. Then we ended out our month, and our month was very full-on, eventful, and then the end of it, we all came crashing down, like I said. But by the very, very end of it, on Halloween, we were actually recovered, which was so nice because I was so afraid I was going to miss out on Halloween. But we were in the clear finally and doing so much better that we were able to walk around. It was actually my first time getting out of the house though since being sick, but we got some fresh air. We walked around the house. We walked around the block, let the boys go trick-or-treating. I made lasagna soup for the first time, which was so good, and it was overall a really nice Halloween with the fam. And a really good month of books. I know this was a really long video, so hopefully I can edit it down where it wasn't so full, but yeah, a lot of really good books. I've already been reading a lot for November as well, so more books will be coming, but I did want to share it because I read a lot of really interesting and also some really good books. I mean, I had some 5 stars for October, so that was really good after having quite a few just like lower rating books for a little while there. But I'm out of my reading slump and I'm really, really like just invested again in books. But let me know what you guys have currently been reading, or if you've read any of these and what you think about them. I know we all have different thoughts and opinions, but I love to share what I'm reading and my thoughts on them. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for hanging out with me and watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.